And welcome back to daxsdeviants. In this podcast, we talk about title holders and their experiences within the fetish community and the wider fetish scene. Today, I am joined by a wonderful guest who is someone I've known for a little bit of time now, and we have the same alpha. Today, I am joined by the amazing Puppy Belgium 2022, Pup Aston. Say hello.
Hello. Well, technically not the same alpha. He's my pup dad, not my alpha.
Yeah,
but there we go. Somewhere in there.
Somewhere there. Yeah, around those lines. So tell me a little bit more about yourself. We know you're Aston, but who is Aston? Where does he come from?
So my background into the kink and fetish community has been a bit kind of skewed in one way. So I kind of started doing stuff, and then all of a sudden COVID hit, and that was fun.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, exactly. One of those ones. And then I was kind of doing little bits of stuff throughout COVID with one guy in London, which we probably shouldn't have been doing, but we did. And a few bits here and there. And then what happened was, as you can tell from my accent, I moved out to Belgium to get some work out there with my university. Through my course of that, I then moved out there and suddenly went, fuck it, I'm going to do everything. And a few months later, or well, more than a few, about 8 months later, went, oh, fuck it, I'll run for an election. And then everything kind of snowballed from that one.
Very nice. Yeah, so the election that you went for, was that just straight into Pup Belgium?
Yes, that was the first ever election I'd done.
Wow.
I was kind of thinking about doing it for a bit of a laugh, bit of fun, all this other stuff. Was a bit hesitant. And then there was one night, me and some friends, some pup friends, we were out drinking at one of the bars that we go to in Brussels, which is pup friendly. Mm-hmm. And we started talking to this person who my partner is still good friends with. And he went, oh, you should do it. You'd be really good. And I'd really like to see if you could try it. And I went, do you know what? Fuck it. I'll sign up and we'll see what happens.
And what did happen?
I won, unfortunately. No. It was kind of one of those ones. I went for it and went, you know what? We'll have a bit of a laugh. I like getting up on stage. I'm a musician, a technician. I'm a performer. I like doing that sort of stuff. So, I was like, it'll be a good chance. I'll do something fun up on stage and we'll go for it. And then, yes, one thing led to another. And suddenly my name got called.
Oh, so what kind of emotions were you feeling in that moment when your name got called? Were you kind of surprised, shocked, or were you expecting it secretly?
With that one, I was, it was a bit interesting. I was kind of standing there. I was like, do you know what? I'm not going to get elected, but I've had good fun. And then it was coming up to the bit of the results. I was standing in there next to everybody, all the contestants, blah, blah. And I looked at the sash and the hood that was on the stand and really went to myself, fuck it. Do you know what? I really want one of these. I know I'm not going to get this one, but I really want one in general. Maybe I'll try properly or I'll try again somewhere next year and do it. And then went through. First runner-up was the other, and I was like, oh, shit. No, what's happening? Yeah. And then, my name got called, and for the next few minutes, I couldn't say anything, and I was kind of in tears, and there's a great video of me just going, I have no idea what's happening. As there is with basically every title when you first get these ones, your first one. And it took me a few minutes on stage to recover before I could finally say anything. And it was just kind of a lot of emotions, a lot of happiness, a lot of shock. And it was seeing all of the people that had made my time or my moving to Belgium a life in the crowd watching me was the main thing kind of that made it for me, having all of them there.
Oh, that's really nice. It's always nice to have that kind of support network. And I'm sure you had a lot of people rooting for you. I've seen you perform myself, and you know how to put on a good show.
Always good fun.
Yeah. So what got you into pup play? Was it just something you kind of experimented with before and then got into it, or was it something that you had kind of decided for a while that you wanted to try it?
So something when I was kind of 17, 18, had been looking for lots of different things. I'd found that and a few other bits online, but I wasn't really sure about different things and I was still discovering. And then kind of having looked at stuff online, one day I kind of went, oh, fuck it. Do you know what? I'll buy a cheap one of those cheap ones off Amazon.
Yep.
And yeah, you know the ones. Yep. And just go, oh, we'll try it. And as soon as it came and arrived, I was just like, yeah, do you know what? I really like this. I want to know more. I want to do more.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah, so I think everyone kind of starts out with the kind of basic hoods. And again, gear's not the most important part here.
Absolutely not.
But I definitely think if you are trying to try something new, to try, you know, maybe a cheaper brand. Just because, you know, maybe if you try it and you don't like it, then you don't want to have wasted all that money.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, when I tried mine as well, I got that one. And my boyfriend at the time was, excuse me, he was kind of a little bit kinky, but not that much. And it was kind of, it was clear, or wasn't clear to myself at the time, but looking back at it, it was clear that I wanted to go more and more and more. And with him at that point, it just felt like a little bit of a barrier. So I was kind of taking that step forward. And because it was that open relationship, then started talking to other people and moving into it. And of course, yeah, what you say with gear is, it's nothing like that. Gear is, it can help you with the headspace, it can help you with other bits, but it doesn't make somebody or something like that. I mean, up until when I did get elected, I basically had no gear. And suddenly I got a nice amount of vouchers. And I went, oh, we can get some nice stuff now.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. And I mean, the hood and the sash it's a great look for you. It really, really suits you. But if, you know, money, time, and resources were no object, what would your dream look be as Aston?
That is a good question. To be honest, over the last couple of years since I've had the title, I've spent a lot into it. If I'm looking at, I kind of look at myself at two different things. I look at Aston, my pup, myself, my more private and intimate one. Mm-hmm. And then there's Aston and the puppy Belgium side. The puppy Belgium side, I have the wonderful metal hood that was given to me, which I absolutely love. I have the sash and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
With that sort of side, there isn't much that I would like to improve. I have that unique look. Nobody else in the world has a hood like I have.
Yeah.
With my own personal side, there's not too much more I'd like to improve. I've spent a lot on collars that I really like. For instance, I have a really nice salmon leather one.
Oh.
I've taken the time to kind of choose carefully what I buy for stuff like that. The only thing I think at the moment which I need to then save up and would like to get would be like one of those full body harnesses in latex, which is like the full straps which cover everywhere. Yeah. Like, yeah, that would be really nice eventually.
Yeah, I actually met a pup when I was in Manchester at the weekend who he made his own harness, and it's like a silicone one. It was really nice. Like it managed to fit it quite well, but it was still that nice kind of stretchy material. Like obviously if you pulled it at, you know, too much force and it would snap, but it was like quite a nice soft feel. And
I'd love to, once I can eventually get my own place, I'd love to, then I would start making my own stuff.
Oh yeah.
But not quite possible at the moment.
Yeah. So what sort of gear would you make for yourself? Like, would you attempt to make something like the full body leather harness?
Yeah, I'd make everything like that. Obviously I'd build up and start small with cuffs and call it, but build up and just make everything. Cause I know you can do it. It just takes time and practice. And I'd love to be able to do it all in leather and in latex and just do it because I enjoy it. And then I can make all the nice expensive bondage stuff that I want to buy. I could make for myself instead.
Absolutely,
and a lot cheaper.
Save some money. No, because I know
Exactly.
I know Mr. Leather Europe, our gorgeous daddy Andy, he makes a lot of leather stuff, and he sold a lot of leather shorts at Darklands this year, and they were really well made.
Yeah. No, he makes really nice stuff. I know quite a few people who make all their own stuff. Less leather, but there's some really good stuff out there from... I would always suggest, having got to the stage I'm at, I would always suggest going to personal or individual buyers or smaller shops rather than mass brands.
Yeah.
Just because of the uniqueness of the item, which doesn't necessarily... It can cost less or it can cost the same amount as a mass-produced thing. So, for instance, as I mentioned, the salmon leather collar I have comes from a wonderful shop in Amsterdam called Smart Fetish. Tiny store, but they make the most gorgeous things in the world. And that collar, it cost me 90 euros.
Oh.
Which is, you know, it's the same amount or maybe slightly less than some of the ones you would pay for at Mr. S.
Yeah.
And I love it. And it's so unique.
My favorite bit of latex is my surf suit, and I got that from Fetish Freaks in London. And I mean, they're not a big store in any sense of the word. It's like, it's smaller than my flat, and yeah, it's a small unit, but like the stuff they do in there is really, really nice. And yeah, that's my favorite bit of latex. It's so comfortable. And it looks great, which is always a bonus. Accentuates the buns, which, you know, I can't complain with that.
He is perfect, yeah.
Exactly. Cannot complain with that. So what is something you know now about your fetishes that you wish you knew going into it? So
you say going into it like this, so I'm going to caveat that with, so I'm only 21, turning 22 in 13 days, so I can still claim that. So going into it was kind of, with COVID, was a long and also very short journey in terms of years, but long journey with how it felt because I was trapped away inside a house for a couple of years, you know, as we all were. So when I first started, I think I kind of was very hesitant and not very sure, and I wish I'd have been a bit more sure. Then once I'd had that time, I kind of just went, fuck it, I'm going to do everything, which has been my attitude to basically everything in life. You know, jump and see what happens. And from then, to be honest, hasn't been much that I have regretted at all. Everything pretty much that I've done has been a good experience, or at least an experience I've been able to learn from. Okay. There have been a few ones where it's been interesting and I've taken a step back and gone, probably not the right thing, but I'm glad at the end of the day where I've tried things and then gone back a few years later or something else with a bit more maturity and a bit more wisdom.
I mean, that's pretty good. But have you found anything that, you know, you thought was going to be good and actually wasn't? Or have you kind of just generalized? I mean,
I tried sounding. I didn't really like that.
Oh man, that's one of my favorites as well. I actually really enjoy it. It's something I do enjoy. But yeah, I feel like sounding's one of these ones that is like Marmite, which don't use Marmite as lube. Don't recommend. But yeah, you either love it or you hate it. I don't think I've ever met someone that's like, sounding's okay. It's it's just like, it's not for me. But I'm glad I tried it. Yeah, like that's the thing is that you have to kind of try everything and say, you know, you like something or you don't like it. Unless it kind of comes to your sexual preferences, because I'm pretty sure you know who you like. That's but some people you never know surprise you. True. Yeah, I was at the Boots. It was last Antwerp Pride, and I remember I was sitting there not expecting that much. It was like the last night of Antwerp Pride. I wasn't really expecting much to happen, and blah blah blah. And then ran into somebody, and now they're a great mate of mine, and they're really nice, and have one of the thickest cocks I've ever seen. You know, you never know who's going to suddenly randomly show up and all these other things when it comes to preference. And so that's another thing to keep open as well. Because personality can change everything as well from how you look at people. Yeah, no, I did meet a handler at the weekend, and yeah, she was definitely different. She even tried on the Dax hood, so she became Dax for a little moment, which she said she
You
hadn't
let
tried
somebody
before.
try on your hood?
I did let someone try on my hood. I know.
I can't. It's too personal for me. Both of my hoods.
Yeah.
I'll let somebody hold the metal one, but they can't put that one on.
Oh, see, Newbie let me wear his, and I really like Newbie's. You can't really see, you have no peripheral vision, but Newbie's hood is very, very cool. I really like his. But I think his was a custom make, wasn't it?
Which, the full, like, Anubis one?
Yes.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
Yeah.
The big full one with everything was made by, fuck, what's his name? It's gone in my head now. On the boots, the pony player.
Pony player. Oh, I think I know who you're on about.
Yeah, exactly what I mean. Yeah. And his name's just gone out of my head. That's really annoying. He's taking over the boots. Fuck. Yes. Anyway, it was a custom made, that one. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that one is awesome. I really, really like that. I do want to get a custom hood made, but I know it's going to be one of these kind of pricey things.
Yeah.
But something for the future.
I think the good thing is, so obviously, a lot of people have the custom Mr. S, but then you can go in and make custom. I've seen, there's one hood I've seen a couple of times, and I think it's owned by a German person, and it was made when I asked him in somewhere like Austria or something like this.
Oh.
And it's a gorgeous leather one, which then it's like, so it's black leather, gorgeous, like some kind of hunting type one, and then it has like white latex bits on it, and it's just gorgeous like that. But like, obviously it costs a lot, but it's that personal connection to it, which is what just makes it worth it.
Yeah.
And what makes, I put on mine is a Mr. S one, but I love it, and it makes me, it is Aston, that is the hood.
Yeah.
And if it was a generic one, you can still get to that mindset. As we said, gear is not everything, but it's once you can have those more custom things, it really internalizes things for you and can really help on that personal scale of finding who you want to be within your fetish side.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Dax actually had an accidental head switch at work the other day, and
oh god,
it was a fun one. So yeah, I'd been at work. This was, what day would that have been? This would have been Monday. So kind of tired. I drove down to Manchester and back in the same day on the Saturday, so I was exhausted from driving 430 miles. I've never driven that far before, so yeah, I probably pushed myself a little bit too far. And one of my close colleagues, Caitlin, who she listens to the podcast, fantastic girl. She's very open-minded. She was walking back to her desk, because our desks are right behind each other. And she said hey to me, and I just instinctively turned around, did a little wag, and went arf. And she just looked at me and went, what? And I was like, I am so sorry. Didn't mean that. It's just a sort of moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, she fully understood. She was like, you're too tired. I'm like, yeah, I'm way too tired. But I mean, have you ever had kind of an accidental head switch before? Or I feel like you're more sane than I am.
Not really, because I think with a lot of the stuff I do, generally, I've had a few slip up, but I'm generally very careful with like where I am and what I'm doing where I am. Right.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah, I'm glad you aren't as much of a dumb puppy as I am. I still can't believe it. I nearly did it a second time, but I managed to kind of catch myself and be like, what, dude? Because that would have been to other colleagues.
Yeah. I've had a few ones where I've thought that I've been walking around campus and I thought I've heard something say something like Aston or something near Aston or whatever, and have turned around and went, nope, that's the wrong place. And like, not said anything, but you just hear that name. It's like, oh yeah, I'm so used to both names that when you hear the other one, it's just like, oh yeah, no, wait, no, yeah, not actually talking to me this time.
God. No, we recently had a new guy start and he has the same name as me. So it's been really annoying to the point where I'm like, I could just ask people to call me Dax. Because that way, you know, I'm going to know who they're talking to. Which I thought would have been a good idea until I really thought about it. And I was like, they're going to ask why. I mean, one of my supervisors does know about the podcast. I'm not really sure if she listens to it, but she definitely knows about it. And I do. I mean,
so with these things, just to kind of round it, with different people have different aspects, and different people choose to share different elements of their lives with everybody.
Yeah.
I think as pups, we're in a unique situation, unlike leathers, unlike rubbers, unlike all these other people, as we can hide our faces, rather leathers or bears can't necessarily as much. And as pups, we get this option. And that also means that you get to choose more what you share with the world in terms of your private and your public life. Yes. I think there are some pups there are quite a few pups who share everything. I know, obviously, you know, we both know Flash. He shares everything with all of his colleagues, with everybody like that. Different people choose different elements. One of my betas, his mum knows everything, but his dad knows nothing. Everybody has their own situations. Yeah. And we're in a fortunate situation being pups that we can hide ourselves in a way behind the hood if we choose to.
Yeah.
You know, I've done interviews where I have had the mask up. I've done interviews where I've had the mask down. For me, it completely depends on the situation. And that for me is something where my uni friends know, my home friends know, but anybody at work does not know because of the type of work that I'm involved in.
Yeah,
and
that's
because everybody has their own balance to make of what they might want to show or not show.
Yeah. No, and that's completely fair. Yeah.
Yeah. And it has to be respected and thought about for each individual person and pup.
Yeah. No, I think it's a very personal thing, kind of sharing your almost alter ego, I would say, because a lot of, like, I know a lot of pups that they kind of see their pup as their other side almost. And, you know, sharing that with people, it can be quite an intimate thing. I'm quite open and honest about Dax. Dax is very much a part of me, and people that know me well know about Dax. I mean, my family all know about Dax because I was very excited during the puppy walk, where you can see me in the news article they done, walking in the background when they were interviewing one of the pups. And I sent a screenshot of it to my family group chat, and I was like, look, like, I'm on TV, and they were all just like, okay. I was like, thanks, you know, my 2 minutes of fame, and yous are just like, yeah, all right, cool. I'm sure they wish I had, you know, won a sports award or something, but, you know, I appeared on TV for all of about 10 seconds as a pup.
There you go.
Good enough for me. So just to try and, you know, get back on track, because as you know me, I'm terrible for going off on tangents. It's the Scottish in me. Can you tell me a little bit more about what your title means for you?
So, just say so. I got the Puppy Belgium title, and that was when I got that. I was thrown into the deep end because a week and a half later was Darklands, and I then found out at that point I was not anymore, but at that point I was the youngest title holder in the world.
Oh wow, that's quite a thing. Yeah,
not the youngest ever elected, but the youngest serving at the time.
Okay.
And that added a new weight. The weight of it kind of for me was, it hit at Darklands just afterwards, after the puppy walk last year, as you mentioned, happened this year, because suddenly we had all these articles in the press going about monkeypox. and blaming Darklands and blaming this. And the issue that we had was all the press were using pup photos.
Of course.
Yeah, because of course there are no actual faces. Nobody can. But I had people going, "This is my hood. This is my hood. I recognize this." And that was when it hit that the title is. It is fun. It is going to events. It is having a laugh. And at the end of the day, you know, we all like to play dress up. But it's a job. It's a role to have, and it's a responsibility. And for me, it's a responsibility I do take heavily. It can be stressful at times. It can really weigh me down. But I enjoy it because I get to help people.
Yeah.
And I've had some really tough moments where I've had to deal with some very tricky situations, but I've had some great moments where I've been just completely going, what the hell am I doing with my life? I love how I've got here and I love this. And then recently, obviously, this Darklands this year, I came first runner-up at the European election.
Yeah,
so
it was quite a spectacle to see.
It was great fun. And yeah, obviously Kirk got elected. I love Kirk. He already is, and he will do such an amazing job. But now, you know, I've got this one as well to look at, and I'm already starting to widen my projects and my views wider than just one country, because obviously my Belgium title has now been taken over by Marshmallow.
Yep.
So,
and I'm now looking
for what? Sorry,
we love Marshy.
Oh, absolutely, love them to bits. Absolutely. But then, so now, kind of the way I view my title is, let's now look wider at what I can do with impact and how to help people. So yeah, it's all about, at the end of the day, the good impact that I want to do for our community across Europe.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about the kind of projects that you're working on. I'm quite interested to hear kind of what you've been working on, what you've worked on previously, anything that you've got kind of in the future pipelines.
So I'll start with what I worked on. So during my title year, I spent a lot of time looking at getting new pups into the scene post-COVID who had maybe struggled, been isolated and all these other things.
Yep.
So I set up the Young Pups group in Belgium, which has been really big success and it's gone really well. And we brought so many people into the community. I am cisgendered myself. However, people came to me within Belgium and said, we haven't got this chat or this chat or this chat. And one of the ones that came up a lot was a chat for non-cisgendered. So I set that one up, which started as the one size collar. And then once that grew, people then asked me for a bigger one. So I then ended up setting up the European size collar group chat, which is now just kept growing everywhere and being really good, which I love.
Yeah.
And, you know, I leave everybody to it because I don't fall under that category, but I'm just happy to have been able to help people in that sense.
Provide a platform for it. Yeah,
exactly. And then I've done, during that title year, I also set up and ran lots of events across Belgium as well, as you do.
A very busy pup.
Yeah, as always. I'm busy in everything, not just being a pup.
Oh, exactly.
Exactly. And then my first project I've started then since Darklands this year, which I'm coming to the end of the first stage at, is been Project Rural. So I've been looking at collecting data at the moment on rural outreach within the kink community across Europe and how people feel that could be improved, how they feel at the moment, you know, kind of how far people travel, what the easiest way to travel, all these different things are across Europe. The next stage is I'm going to take all the data that I've gathered from every country, where I've got enough data for each country. We're then going to analyze that data and then feed back to each title holder of that specific country and give them information on how they could improve rural outreach within their community to get more people involved. And then I'm also going to produce a European-wide kind of results section as well, to then go, this is how we might be able to do something better across Europe to get more people in rural areas involved.
I love that. And I mean, you know me, I love statistics and going over data. It is just...
I hate it, but I'm going to do it.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. One of my favorite subjects at uni was bioinformatics, and that's just a wall of genetic code in front of you.
Nope.
It's just so pretty. It is. Oh, honestly, I love looking at data. It's something I've been trying to learn. I've been using, what's it called? Skillshare. I've been using Skillshare to kind of hone my skills in infographics and things like that. I've even been using it to kind of improve my podcast skills. Kind of graphic design, things like that. Since, I pay for Adobe anyway, so I'm like, I may as well get use of the entire package since, they charge you an arm and a leg for it.
Of course.
So it's been really fun to kind of learn how to do that. And making infographics, it's a bit of a ball ache to get things looking pretty, but like the final result is so worth it. So I've got a few...
That is a good thing, at least with it being my last year at university, I've still got access to all these things at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, if you time it right, if you time it just before you leave uni and have it like refresh a year, you'll be able to get like a whole year at student price.
Well, the good thing is, at least with my next job lined up in the autumn, I'll still get things covered. So that's nice, with a nice discount to all the other stuff through that.
Lucky. I was trying to convince IT at my work to give us the Adobe Creative Cloud package, and they basically looked at it and went, why? I'm like, yeah, I can't really answer that one for you, buddy. I'll just take it that you said no. So that was the end of that. So if you had to pick one thing that you've already done, what would you say is the most significant thing you've done in your time as a title holder?
Significant in which way? To me or to the community?
Let's go with for you first, and then we can talk about for the community.
So, trying to think.
I know I'm throwing the hard questions at you.
Yeah, no, I'm trying. I've got so many good memories. I'm trying to think of like the best one, kind of thing.
Yeah,
I think the one that set up my title year in motion and was such a great time was Brussels Pride, basically this month last year, where we did the Pride. It was really great success and blah, blah, blah. And then the thing that made it for myself and for everybody that made that day so special was then afterwards we went to one of our sponsor bars, to Castro, and I think at the most we had was about almost 40 pups there. Oh, wow. Just afterwards. Just chilling, having drinks. They put out some nibbles for us and just having a lovely time. And that was one of the first events that I'd organized everything up. And to have it as that big a success and have that many people from the community, a lot of people at that one as well, it was their first ever time coming out in public as well. Oh. So it was such a nice, special time to have that. And especially have that as like the first big event I'd organize on my own to get everything sorted.
That's amazing. And like, was it a particularly difficult thing to set up, or did you find it kind of with your prior experience of, the stuff that you do, was it easier to kind of manage? It wasn't too bad.
It was more just coordinating with timings and trying to get everybody at the right place at the right time, that sort of stuff. I mean, we chose Castro because it's not on the main, it's just off the main gay street in Brussels, because the main gay street on Pride is completely fucking packed. Yeah, no one's getting moved. If I want to get a nice pup social going, we'll choose somewhere that's just off it. And you know what? We had our own space. We had the terrace on the road. We had all this. They sat, and it was just so nice. And actually, we're going there again for this year in about 10 days for Brussels Pride again. We're back there.
Oh, that's amazing. So, that's so exciting. And then just off the back of that, what would you say the most significant thing you've done in your time as a title holder for the community is?
So, I mean, I can't put it down to a single event. I would probably say that the young pups group within Belgium has been the biggest thing. And that was my main project to do for my title year as the Belgium title holder. And because it was something that, I had felt, and it was something that I knew so many people had experienced. And I wanted to get all these people who were kind of hiding within the shadows out into the community to discover things post-COVID. Because loads and loads of people had turned 18 or had discovered kink and fetish or all these other things whilst being shut at home. And what I wanted to do was introduce all of these people who discovered stuff and wanted to know more but didn't know how to get out there and to show them what could be out there for them. And I think that's probably I hope that that's the most significant thing that I did during that title year.
I mean, you set yourself a goal and you, from the sounds of it, more than achieved it. I think it is pretty important. I mean, in my own case, with Scotland being very hush-hush about kink and things like that, it's not something that you see an awful lot of, or at least not when you go on Grindr and things like that, but then Grindr's never the best. It wasn't really until I learned about Darklands that I started to really discover kinks and fetishes. So I think, it would have been nice to have had kind of that sort of group when I was like 18, 19, somewhere to kind of discover interest and things like that.
So what I did as well, just to say, with the young pups, it wasn't just young in age, it was young in finding pup playing kink. So I had people who were 50 whatever, but they'd only discovered their kink side during COVID. And so they are just as young and new to it as the 18-year-olds who have been itching to get off their seats since 16, 17. But everybody said no, because obviously, we have to be safe.
Yes, absolutely.
And, you had all these other people who were older, who was just as young and wanting to go as well. And had that. But I know exactly what you mean. And that was why, myself included, I was in that position. I had the fortunate opportunity to have a voice to set it up. Because you can, and I encourage everybody to do all the work that a title holder does without the title. Just, if you want to do something, do something. The good thing about the title is it gives you a platform and it gives you a bit further reach. But you do not need a title to do good work for the community.
No, absolutely not. So talking about kind of Aston, what is something that you think makes Aston unique from other pups?
God,
I'm throwing all the hard questions at you. You thought I was going to go easy on you.
I've had plenty of ones as well. It's like going back into European interview, all these other things like this. Makes me unique. I'm going to say, and it won't mean unique to everybody because I know obviously there are other people, but I'm going to say confidence, because I am somebody that just goes, fuck it, let's do it. Let's try this. Let's try that. Let's go and talk to this person. Let's go and help that person. Let's go and introduce myself here. Let's go and just do it, because why not? So I'm gonna go for that. Yeah.
I think from the moment I certainly met you, you were very, very confident. Someone that you kind of you walk into the room and you notice them immediately. The life of the party, as it were.
I don't know about that, but
and kind of off of that uniqueness, with having all of the confidence, are you the sort of person that would, if you're at an event, something like that, and you see someone maybe that's a little bit more shy, would you try and encourage them to mingle or try new things?
Not necessarily to mingle, like you said, but I will be somebody who'll go up and talk to them, because if they don't want to mingle and they're not ready to, they won't. But if they can have a conversation one-on-one, it's a start. So often if I see somebody new like that, and I know it's a busy event, I'll go up to them, I'll have a short conversation, and I'll get chatting to them. And then if it is a particularly busy place, and I know I've got some friends that I trust around, I might go, well, why don't you talk to this person? Or why don't you talk to this person? and try and get them slowly integrating into a larger group is my methodology of doing it. So it's not just talk to one, I'll introduce, and then we'll go, and then you can introduce to this person and then that person.
Yeah, and then you have kind of
try to do it.
A new social circle, as it were. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what sort of advice would you give to new pups or even new deviants that are kind of looking to explore their fetishes?
I would say hesitantly try everything. And I say try everything because it's amazing and you need to figure out what you like and what you don't like. I say hesitantly because you always need to be careful of your own limits. You need to be aware of who you might be doing things with and the situations you might put yourself in. But so always be safe. But as long as you know you're safe, just go and try something, because you never know what you're going to like and you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, there's so many different kind of kinks and fetishes out there that exploring kind of, you need to try a bit of everything, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because sometimes it's like, you know, a combo where there's kinks that you can definitely combine, and it's like, ayo, this is like a super fetish.
Yeah. Well, I now have so I brought a Darklands, some more leather. So I've now got a full leather outfit for if I want to do that. I've got a full rubber outfit for that stuff. And then I've got, I love in the summer just doing like an elastic or some kind of body harness or just a leather harness and being more open with skin. And,
yeah,
as you said, it's combining everything you want and just enjoying what you want.
Yeah. Because, it wasn't until Darklands this year that I started exploring leather last year and pup play the year before, and it was only this year that I decided to combine the two, and I was like, actually, this is definitely a vibe that I like. So yeah, Dax is very much leather puppy, which I got name tags for my vest, so now I have like a little Scottish flag with Pup Dax beside it.
Yeah.
Just so I'm easily identifiable at events and things. For anyone that was at Kennel Club, you might have seen me there. For the people that I met and spoke to, it was lovely to meet you all. It was an absolutely incredible event. I was actually quite nervous going into it, mainly because I was very tired from driving for 4 hours straight. Because there was a bit of traffic, and maps decided to take me through the back arse end of nowhere.
As they always do.
Yeah, and I was just like, okay, so yeah, and that was like the first maybe 30-ish miles of the journey. It wasn't even like, I'd got almost there and then it takes me out the wrong way. No, this is just getting out of Scotland.
But to be fair, you are coming from Scotland, so you're already in the arse of nowhere.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
No, the thing is, I didn't even realize, like, driving down, literally 10 miles away from my hometown is just fields and hills. Like, you are literally in the middle of nowhere, and I'm like, this isn't that far from where I live, and there's sheep and cows, and that's all that's here. Like, driving through it, I was like, if I broke down here, like, no one's gonna know. Like, what the fuck? This is so weird to think that I was so close to home. But yeah, by the time I actually got on the motorway was when I was starting to get a little bit sleepy, just because, got onto the M74 and it was like, okay, you're taking the exit for the M61 in 174 miles. I was just like, what? I'm on this one road for that long? Like, fuck. So I was like, okay. So yeah, by the time I got there, I was very tired, and I was kind of just sheepishly hanging around Neutron, like, please look after me. But I did perk up. I did start socializing, and I spoke to a lot of lovely pups and handlers. And I'm actually really, really looking forward to going back. Because now that I've kind of spoke to a few people, I'll know faces. I'll be able to
I still need to make it up to Manchester for an event at some point, because I haven't got up that far yet.
Yeah,
I know, it's just one of the ones where there's always clashes and all this other stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Because I've got it's not set in stone because I'm still waiting to hear for dates from work. But potentially there's Northern Pride in Newcastle over the summer, but you never know.
Okay, yeah.
But that would be the most northern I've gone for a fetish event. I have gone past the M25, I promise.
Yeah. No, yeah, because I'm doing a few events this summer. It's going to be a busy one.
Yeah,
but I'm looking forward to it. So I've got Club Locked, which is when your episode goes out, it'll be this weekend. The weekend of the episode, not this weekend when I'm recording.
Yeah.
Because, I like to be prepared. I've got Barcelona Pride.
Nice.
I didn't even realize it was going to be Barcelona Pride that weekend. I literally booked my tattoo for my sleeve to get finished.
Oh, just going for holiday. Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, I was going to get my sleeve finished.
Holiday and it's like, yeah.
And like I'd said so it's the tattoo artist Max Tosin, who is from Cube Tattoo, who works at Darklands. Guys are all amazing. Love them all. And I'd said mid-July, and he was like, okay. And I was like, well, I was thinking about the weekend of the 15th, 16th, 17th. And he was like, yeah, no, we're closed that weekend because it's Barcelona Pride. I was like, oh. He was like, but if you flew over on the Thursday, we could do your session on the Friday. Then you'd have the weekend to kind of enjoy. And I was like, all right, we'll do that.
Pride, yeah.
So yeah, I'm very excited. It'll be my first time kind of going to a country where I'm staying by myself and basically no one.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, so I kick off in 10 days with Brussels Pride. A few weeks later, Oxford in England.
Geez, yeah.
Then, God, I can't remember. Let me get it up. Let me find my schedule and I can do that one. Yeah, so we do that. Then Dublin Pride at the end of June, and then at the end of June, beginning of July is Puppy Germany. It's London Fetish Week in mid-July, starting with London Trans Pride. Then I'm just going over to Vienna for a bit of a holiday, and I'm sure I'll make whatever Mark has in plan. Then it's Amsterdam Canal Pride for me. Then it's week after that, it's Antwerp Pride in August.
Jeez.
Then I've got a couple of weeks off then to just have some family holiday and a few other bits.
Yeah.
And then just at the beginning of September is Reading Pride again in the UK. And then I will go from there. But I'm not planning anything else after that. At the moment.
Well, if you're free at the start of June, Kink and I are having their first year celebratory kind of party almost.
So I've got every single weekend up until the 10th of September is now booked out.
Oh,
yeah.
So no trip to Belfast for you.
In May.
There's no trip to Belfast for you.
No, unfortunately not. No, but I've got Dublin in there, which I'm really looking forward to because I love the Irish community so much.
Oh, they're so good.
They're such good fun.
They're the best kind of guests to interview because the tangents you go off on are just absolutely wild. Shiny was great. Shiny and Fonzo were both absolutely great.
Nice.
Shiny gave me the best pickup line that I've ever had that is now on my soundboard on the Discord, just because it was absolutely hilarious. And yeah, I use it against them.
I've just been editing the podcast with Astra, and that has been brilliant as well, which should, but that's been so much fun to do because Ashley, you know what he's like as well. And I did get the best clip of a leprechaun laugh I can get, which I've now taken to sample for future recordings of stuff. Because it's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I had Kerberos on last week, which would have been 2 weeks ago. That is one of the most unique laughs that I have ever heard. It is absolutely brilliant.
My handler husband. Hey.
He sounds like a car engine failing to start.
Yep.
He's brilliant though. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just kind of on the back of
They'll
that.
be at Brussels Pride, so I'm looking forward to seeing him there.
Yeah, I'll be in Manchester, unfortunately, so I won't be making Brussels Pride, sadly. But I am going to try and attempt to make it to Antwerp Pride.
Yeah.
So it just depends on scheduling, because I don't know if, I think my work should be kind of starting back up then, but I don't know if I'm going to be allowed in the facility yet or not. It's still waiting on kind of occupational health clearing me. They have declared Dax a disabled puppy, which is great. So I'm like, okay, well, what the fuck do I do now? So yeah, it's
you
more
get a nice blue badge for your car.
That's in the pipe works. So that's gonna be fun. So yeah, that's absolutely fantastic, I suppose. No, it's not ideal.
No.
But yeah, Dax is still going through kind of a lot of diagnostic work, which is great fun. I'm totally kidding. It's not great fun. But yeah, the podcast was kind of started because of diagnostic work that was going on when I was kind of bored and stuck in the hospital. But it's kind of just kind of blown up from there. And it's been such a fun thing to do, and something I hope to continue doing. Because there's a very special guest next week after you, in which
I can guess, can't I?
I will not share any details. I mean, you can try and guess.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a very special guest on next week.
Is he from a different continent? Are they from a different continent?
No. No, they're not.
No. Okay, not who I was thinking of then.
I'm guessing you were thinking of David.
I was thinking of David, yes.
Yeah. I love David. David has agreed to be on the podcast. It's just finding time in his busy schedule and something to deal with the time difference. Because it would either have to be very late at night for me or very late
early in the morning.
Yeah. So yeah, it's finding that balance. But he has agreed to be interviewed, and I think he will be one of the first few interviewees of season 2. I still need to interview Marshy. I think I actually still have about 5 interviews lined up that I still need to do. And yeah, it's one finding the time to actually,
oh God,
sit down and chat to people.
Oh God, always. It's just. Yeah,
and I'm like,
good luck for the summer months. It's not going to happen.
Honestly, yeah. That's what I thought. It was like, it's difficult enough now, like dealing with my own schedule, and like all my schedule is at the moment is work. And then I'm like, okay, I'm interviewing title holders which have their own jobs, and personal lives, and then they also have their title holder duties and all of the events that they need to go to, and all of the stuff that they need to organize. And I'm like, how do they have time to sit and just chat shit with me for 2 hours?
I mean, honestly, this year I'm in my final year of uni. I've somehow managed to make it through with title, uni, and 2 other jobs.
Honestly, I have no idea how you are still alive. Like, genuinely, like at Darklands, I was like, hey, how do you have so much energy to keep doing this? And you're just plodding along. Like, yeah, it's my life.
There's moments where I do have a collapse, but every now and then. But most of the time, because it's fun. I mean, one of the jobs I do, is the side of being a reservist and whatever. The other job I do is swim coaching. I do, as it's easy work and it's a bit of money that then finances the pup side of things.
I mean, that's always the bonus side of things. Yeah. But yeah, I just remember like all the stuff you were doing at Darklands, and like the Friday I was dying.
Oh God, Darklands was chaos.
Oh my God. Like, yeah, I got that stomach bug, and you're still like running about like, I've got this and that to do. And I'm like, the young ones, how do they have so much energy?
It's not even that. I just, each evening I'd get home and collapse and then do it all again. But it was just like, I've just got all these events. We've got to go do this, and this, and we're just going to do it because let's do it. Yeah. And why not?
Man, it was, the amount of high energy that you had. And I was just like, I envy you. If my insides weren't dying, it would be good.
I love it because it was the ones where, my performances at Darklands kicked off on the Thursday night with show tunes.
Yeah. And it was so good watching you perform.
It's just such fun. You know what I mean? So a lot of these things where I am I'm running everywhere, but I'm running to perform or to be on stage or to talk to this person or to do a photo shoot for this. And my view on it is I'm also just lucky, so I'm going to give it what I've got because everybody doesn't get asked for a photo shoot. I'm fortunate enough that people do want to do them with me. I'm fortunate enough that people want me on stage, so I'm going to give 100% because people want me and I enjoy it. So,
living the limelight
exactly. And even when it was the Friday evening and one of my betas, Delius, was performing for World Fetish Show Contest, I love it. He's up there doing this little stuff as well. And great. I'm going to give 100% to supporting him. Yeah. So getting him ready to get changed, getting him ready nerds-wise, getting him warmed. It's more stuff to do, but I don't mind because it's helping and because I'm lucky enough to be involved in it all.
Yeah.
And it's just the outlook you have on it, I think.
No, I definitely think kind of having a really positive outlook on it. And I mean, I know how busy you were, but you stayed positive through the whole thing. You didn't let anything bother you. It's, you can tell who's going to do well by those who kind of, how do I say it? The ones that kind of crumble under the pressure of it all. A lot of it is due to how ridiculous the kind of expectations are. To kind of organize things and, be it this, be it that, pose for this, pose for that. It is a lot of work, but I mean, yourself and a lot of the other title holders just absolutely take it in their stride. It's like you were born for it.
I think I was lucky. So growing up, I was fortunate enough because of my dad's position to go to a good school. And so kind of, when I was 13, I was doing solos in front of singing at house competitions with solos in front of 1,200 people.
Oh yeah.
And that'll do it. Those kind of things where you don't quite realize how big they are at that age instills that confidence younger on that when it gets to all these things, I just enjoy. There's nothing that makes me nervous. When I was doing my performance for the European puppy election, the only thing I was annoyed at was the time limit because I wanted more time on stage.
That does not surprise me.
Exactly. I don't care that I'm in front of, however many 100 or 1,000 or whatever people that were there watching it from the benches down below or the alpha deck up above and all. I just like being up there for it. And that confidence in it to just go, do you know what? I've got these opportunities to do it. I still remember one of the best nights I had as my title thing was back in last September. And I was performing at a drag bar in Brussels. Oh. Doing some pup stuff with a drag queen and whatever. And we did, one of the songs we did was, it's an old song from the 60s and whatever. And it was used in Cruella. It's Catch the Bone or something like that. Or Want to Catch the Dog or whatever. One of those type of ones.
Okay, yeah.
And it was great fun doing that on stage. I absolutely loved it. And it was brilliant. Over before, kind of one of those kinds of things. And then afterwards, I was just chilling, and did a few other bits and just chilling upstairs with drag queens and I was just like, I love this. This is brilliant. I did then get in slight trouble a couple of weeks later when they suddenly realized that I was wearing a jock strap and some very see-through shorts. But
I mean, it's fine.
It's fine, but for a normal drag bar rather than a fetish specific one, it was a bit, maybe a bit too much. So next time I go and perform, it's no jock strap, but nice underwear.
I mean, the audience wanted a nice view, and if they get something peachy, then
exactly.
I think that improved it, but that's just me. No, I definitely think the confidence level of title holders has to be kind of really out there. and it is something that I've seen kind of not only at the European elections, but kind of just talking to, you know, past and present title holders. They all kind of just push out this mass confidence aura, and it's something you feel very relaxed in.
Yeah.
Like I know some.
I think that's a good thing because it's.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's an amazing thing.
You want people to feel, as you said, confident and relaxed, because at the same time, whilst I'll happily go up and do an interview on TV, I'll be in front of however many hundreds or thousands of people and talk about this. So you also have to be able to be confident and open enough to have the hard individual conversations with people. I've had a lot of people come to me with a lot of different issues. I've dealt with a lot of different issues, which at this stage in my life, I did not think I would have to be talking about.
No.
But you have to be able to have the confidence to talk about them, also have the confidence to say, look, I don't know how to help you, but thank you for telling me these are the right people to talk to you. And you have to have that confidence to be able to have a random person come up to you and go, I'm having this problem, that problem, this problem, and I don't know what to do with my life. Help me. And I don't even know you. Because that does happen. Yeah, no, absolutely. I know I've spoke to a couple other guys on the podcast so far, and they've said similar things that, there's people that genuinely just need someone to talk to. Kerberos was telling me about the project he's working on about providing people with the accessibility to have mental health resources, which is, I think, it's an absolutely incredible project he's working on. And I think it is really important to be that kind of face almost for that, you know, little corner of the community, so that people that are maybe struggling or, you know, or maybe new and, you know, not really sure, have that person to go to for advice and help and whatever it may be. And as you said, even if you can't, you know, help them then and there, you can at least point them in the right direction of someone that maybe can. Yeah. And I've had some kind of extremely difficult situations at a couple of points over the year, and I've had to go and look, I want to help you, but this is beyond my expertise. If I try and say anything, it's not safe for you. It's not safe for me. These are the people you need to go and talk to. Yeah. And I think that is the kind of the red tape almost, is you can help to a point. But after that, you can only kind of advise more professional or experienced kind of help there. I don't envy you. I know it's a tough job, a tough gig doing that kind of side of things. I mean, I think, but it's rewarding as well. Oh yeah, definitely. I can definitely see that. You get the side where you get to do big projects. Yeah. But at the end of the day, the way I look at life is, even if you've made one person's life a bit better, you've done something well. So when I can help people individually, that's the real stuff that counts, because you never know how that's going to affect them down the line. You never know where they're at that point in life. Mm-hmm. And if you can just help them a little bit, it will go a long way. Oh, I 100% agree with you there. Yeah. Because that was kind of one of the things for me at Darklands is this year, with my health still not being 100%, I didn't really go as like a sexual thing. It was more just a social thing for me this year. Obviously, I did the horse fair because it's me. But mainly just kind of talking to people, interacting. I think the horse fair would have been the only times I visited the dark rooms. I just, didn't go to them. It was walking around, talking to people, having a bit of a dance, having a little bit of a drinky poo. I've never said that in my life. I don't know why I just said it. What the fuck is wrong with me? And I'm just going to have a bath with a toaster now. No, but in all seriousness, it was really nice just kind of talking and getting to know people, and kind of having that social aspect. And just kind of forming new connections. I spoke to a lot of Darklands newbies,
And a lot of them said the same thing, like it wasn't what they expected, and but
it never is.
Yeah, I say this to everyone: don't go to Darklands with any kind of expectations, because it's never what you expect.
Everybody's Darklands is what they want. Like you said, you can make it really sexual, and you can spend your whole time in a dark room with your face on the floor and the ass in the air, if that's what you do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or you can spend 0 time in a dark room and just have the social aspect, and if that's you, do it. Or you can be somewhere in between. It really has changed over the years, and it really is just there's so much on offer. Some would say there's too much, but there's so much on offer. You make what you want to make of it.
And for people that are thinking about going to Darklands, make sure you hide your credit cards, hide your debit card. Don't bring any money, because the market will absolutely drain all of your finances. This year I was like, I'm not going to spend any money.
The drinks.
Yes. Oh my God.
Drinks play. Oh God.
I had 9 tokens left over. I was getting my vest ready for going down to Manchester, and I was like checking the pockets and that. I opened the pocket and out come 9 tokens, and I was like, shit, that's like £1,000 worth. It's not quite £1,000, but yeah, like 30 quid worth of drinks. It's like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I honestly think they should have made it like how you get like, I don't know how it was at your school. I went to a really shitty community high school where they gave you like this really shitty plastic card that you would load money onto, and then the dinner ladies would like give it a little swipe. It wasn't even like a tappy card, it was a swipey card, and that's how you paid for your lunches. I was like, I'd rather have that, where I could like top it up remotely and then just carry it over to the next year. But they're like,
well, you can never carry them over to the next year, but I know what you mean.
It's annoying that you can't do that. It's not like they changed the prices or anything. But yeah, I sometimes wonder why Darklands hasn't, spoke to me about the podcast. And then I realized that half the time I'm talking about Darklands, I'm like, there is this problem and this problem. So I don't think they're really going to want to be when they're like, we don't want to hear that. We want to hear about the good stuff. Overall, very good festival though. It is a great place to kind of socialize, meet new people, and make new. I was going to say make new content. And like you could make content if you wished.
Whoops. No. No. It is a great place, and it's also great because like you say, you're meeting new friends, but it's not just meeting new friends from one. There are people there from all over the world. People come from Australia. They come from the States. I met 2 people who came from Brazil. People come from absolutely fucking everywhere to go to Darklands, which is amazing. The contacts I've got all over the world that I can reach out to for help, for fun, for chats, for whatever.
Yeah, it's such a global event now.
So much.
And getting to see David is always my favorite part, just because he's so far away. David is such a sweetheart. I am looking forward to interviewing him.
Getting to see like Case for me, who lives in LA, and we just get on so well. I love him so much, and I only get to see him once or twice a year, and one of those times is always at Darklands, and it's just so nice. I think
it's really strange because of all the places I would have expected an international event to be. Belgium would not have been my first guess. I would have said like Germany or Spain, or dare I say it, London. I wouldn't have expected a city in Belgium, but it's actually one of my favorite cities to visit now. Like Antwerp is such a gorgeous city.
Antwerp is probably my favorite city in the world at the moment.
Oh yeah, I would have to agree with you there. It is like they've got the architecture, the mix between the new and the 16th century Flemish architecture. I know the train station is absolutely gorgeous. They've got the Maas Museum, which is one of my favorite buildings in the whole world, just because of it's a block that has a spiral in it. It's just pretty. Just the people are lovely as well. I always want
to do a gig in the train station. It'd be great. I know they do gigs in like the entrance and the atrium. I'd really want to do like a full gig. And like I have this plan. Like I don't know if anybody's like people who have been to Darklands and arrive on the train. I had this plan where you could do like the main vocals and percussion and stuff up on like the first bit or on the first level of platforms, and you could stick like brass up the top, choir, and it would just be like a fucking nightmare to record and like to for a conductor, but it would just sound like the most amazing pop piece you could ever get like that. I just love to do it, but unfortunately that's a lot of time and a lot of money that at this point I don't have. But if somebody wants to do that and they want me to record it, they can. I'll do that.
Absolutely. No, because I know that
I'll come in as your sound engineer.
A lot of Scottish train stations now have a piano where they invite people to just randomly play. It's just kind of set up for you to go ahead and use. I think if they'd done that in Antwerp station, it would be well used by visitors at Darklands, because a lot of them are quite creative. And that's the best thing about Darklands, is that there is so many people from different backgrounds and professions and things like that.
God, there's everybody. You can get the best job in the world from somebody you meet at Darklands whilst you're fisting them, and that will happen.
Not even that. It makes travel plans so much easier, because the amount of people that you meet, and you're like, oh, if I was wanting to visit there, and like, oh my God, just come and stay with me, and you're like, are you sure? And they're like, yeah. They're like, just fly over, stay with me, and it's like, what?
This summer, I'm going to 7 different countries across Europe. I'm only paying for 1 hostel.
Oh my God.
That's it.
See, it's like, and that's the wondrous thing of it all. It is so good. The amount of people that I invited to stay with me, and I'm like, I'm not that far from Edinburgh. Like, it's a short drive. It's a nice little flat. You have to deal with a cat, but I mean, she's cool. She's harmless enough. She mainly just tries to pap your toes. Yes, I am talking about you. She's looking at me like, say something. She's a gremlin, but we love her. And I am living proof that pups and cats can get on. So is there anything that you would consider kind of a hot tip? Any kind of advice that you would give to someone that's maybe been into like pup play or any other fetishes for a while that you would recommend as a hot tip?
It's the same thing. Just don't stop trying stuff. There's always new stuff to discover, and new people, new places. Don't stop trying things. Don't stop exploring.
I think that's a pretty good hot tip.
Simple.
Yeah. It's like, maybe you just haven't found the right set of sounds yet. You just never know.
True. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yep. Maybe you just need to try the silicone ones. The metal ones can be quite rigid and not enjoyable. The silicone ones are a little bit more flexible. I could talk about hours for this, so I'm not gonna do that. So tell me a little bit more about you as a pup. Is it more of a sexual thing? Is it more of a social thing? Is it in the middle? For me, it kind of ebbs and flows. There'll be a couple of months where I'll be more sexual with it all. There'll be a couple of months where I'll be a lot more social with it all. And there'll be a month or so where I'm not feeling any side of pup specific thing, but I'll still do the work for stuff. It's an ever-changing thing of where I lie on the spectrum of sexual to social. Yeah. The summer months are usually more social because we go to all these events and stuff like that. The winter months are usually slightly more sexual, but you never know what's going to happen. Yeah. I mean, you've got to keep warm one way or another, so.
Exactly. Another body helps.
And like, how many events would you able to guess that you've been to?
Oh, God. That is a good question. I mean, when I calculated it for Darklands, I'd done somewhere between 15 and 20. So then we've had on a couple since then. But then I don't count things. That counts as only like prides and festivals. I don't count things like Collard or my own drinks meetups. So if I had those in there somewhere, we'd be getting up to 100 probably, something like that. Or at least by the end of the summer, at least 100. Just because, I will pop along to the rubber drinks that are happening here or the leather night that's there as well without me being the organizer.
Jeez. like I'm trying to think. I've done 3 Darklands. I've been to Hard On in London once. I've done a bunch of the Boots nights, but that's mainly because of Darklands and things like that.
I'll just go to the Boots because I'm there, and let's go to the Boots. Why not?
Yeah, but then to
I
be
don't
fair,
kind of count that as an event. But it's just me going out and being social.
There is hardly any events up here, which kind of sucks. It's something I'm kind of trying to look to change. But yeah, it is just this country, unfortunately. It is something I'm going to be working on. Kind of once I can dedicate more time and resources to it, which at the moment is a little bit difficult since I'm kind of throwing all of my resources into this. But this is something that I'm absolutely loving doing at the moment. Mainly because it's really entertaining to do, and it's kind of a big learning curve at the same time. Especially the graphics side of thing has been really fun. Throwing everything together, like the new background of all the posters and that, a lot of it was painstakingly hand drawn for 2 hours, and it was the ADHD brain just kicked in, and that was me amused for 2 hours, until it was finally done, and I zoomed out and I was just like, oh my god, it's art. It was like the thing that I've been most proud of is just kind of the artwork. It's now I made a wallpaper. If anybody wants a wallpaper, reach out. I'll send it to you because it's very pretty.
It's there.
it's so nice. It's kind of got the, what's his name? You know, the English artist who he like bought a mansion and doodled on everything.
I don't know them off the top of my head now.
I can't remember his name, but like he does like little. It's all just kind of like line work, but it's basically like that. Just a lot of lines and squiggles and zigzags and But it was such a fun project to do. So just kind of talking about the other half of Aston, the human side, as it were. What sort of thing is it you've said about kind of the sound engineering, and your lifeguarding and in the reserves? What sort of hobbies do you have that isn't work or the events that you do?
I'm a sound engineer, so I do lots of stuff with recording and everything like that. I'm finishing my degree in that, and that's how I ended up moving to Belgium in the first place, was through that. My sport is water polo mainly, and a bit of swimming still, and then I coach swimming as well, just for a bit of money. And then I am a reservist and heading regular from September. And between those and kink, that is my life basically. And
no time for anything else.
But all of those things that I do, I love. So I don't need another hobby because those are my hobbies and I love them. So that's it, because I don't need anything else.
No. And are you going to be one of the only guests that knows their personality type?
What do you like?
Out of the 16 subtypes. So I personally am an ENFP. Do you happen to know yours?
Nope.
It's absolutely fine. Nobody's known it so far. It's one of these really niche questions that I've been asking. And I know the first person that actually answers it is going to be very funny, because I'm not going to know what to say. Originally I'd made a little list of like, your personality types this, like, it's kind of like, those horoscope girls that's like, oh my god, you're such a Virgo, and you're just like, oh haha, joke's on you, I'm actually a Taurus. But I've lost that since then, because I now have a file management system. I didn't to begin with. Like most things in my life, just chaotic. And talking about chaos, what is your favorite food?
Okay. I'm gonna go for a good steak frite.
Oh,
with a
that sounds
peppercorn
good.
sauce, and there we go.
Oh, I do love a good peppercorn sauce, to be fair. It's like, do you know what would make it even better, though? If you had some haggis bonbons on the side.
I'm okay, thanks, but there we go.
Oh my god, you're not a fan of haggis?
I'm not a big fan of haggis.
Oh,
No,
I
sorry.
love haggis. Haggis is delicious. Yeah, it's something that I do enjoy as just a little snack. Little haggis bonbons. No, I would say like my favorite food is probably burritos. I'm a big burrito fan. I actually recently got Neutron to get the pulled beef burritos out of Costco.
Yeah.
I got him to try them, and yeah, he's been loving them because they're really good. You can just wrap them in tinfoil, whap them in the freezer, take them out, pop it in your air fryer for 25-30 minutes, and then you have a nice tasty meal.
There you go.
And it's puppy friendly because it's just rice, beans, and pork. No, not pork, beef. Wow, good job, John. If you can't already tell, my brain is dying today. It's been a long day. All right, it's on to Dax's favorite bit of the show. It's time for Dax's dice. Are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
You know the premise.
Nope, let's do it.
All right, so 3 rolls of the dice. It's a D20. There are 20 questions, so each number correlates to a question. You can skip on one question only, but if you do skip on a question, you then need to answer the next one. So if you skip on your first one, you then need to answer the next 3. You don't get any more skips.
Okay. Yeah,
okay.
That's fine.
So first roll,
Okay.
Stream Deck, don't fail me now. First roll is a 7. And number 7 is, what is your favorite feature about yourself?
I'm gonna go vain then and say my cock because it's 8.5 inches long.
Hey, I mean that's pretty fucking good. Yeah, you do have a very nice dick. It's a very pretty dick. Okay, second roll, 17. How would you define yourself from dom top to sub bottom?
Moody verse.
A moody verse. Explain that one to me. I've not heard that one before.
Most of the time nowadays, I will dom mostly top, sometimes dom bottom. There are less and less people that I will sub for, but I have to be in the right mindset to like properly sub bottom. So I'll be kind of moody verse.
Nice
is what I'll go for.
Yeah, I was saying this last week. It's Dax has become less of like switch bottom and is now kind of just becoming verse switch. But I do like being a sub top. Being a sub top is really fun.
Mm. Yeah.
All right, and your third roll is a 14. Oh, have you ever sent a "you up" text?
Yes.
The booty call texts are always good. I wouldn't expect anything less from you, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So if you had to choose one thing for me to remember you by, what would it be?
Wait, so I say that again?
So if you had to choose one thing for me to remember you by, what would it be?
Oh, I mean, physically, the easiest thing to say is the metal hood because of its uniqueness.
Yeah, it is very unique.
So, that would probably be the physical easiest thing that anybody can see me coming with that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, I think that is it. So thank you.
Perfect timing because my laptop is on 19% and slowly fading, even with the charger plugged in.
Yeah,
my fans have not been happy.
Yeah, technology at its best, honestly. So thank you.
I've just got so much software and plugins installed on this laptop that for all my audio stuff. But
I'm pretty sure. I think my computer reset itself. So yeah, the memory's running okay now. But my CPU is usually okay, but my memory usually sits about 90%. And it's 16 gigs, so I'm like, I don't know why you're using so much. But yeah, Neutron had a go the other day.
Like 256, and it's almost completely finished.
Oh God. Yeah,
I've got too many plugins and software for audio stuff.
Yeah,
that's what takes it all.
Yeah,
because like my hard drives, I've got everything full on my hard drives as well. Audio projects take up a lot of space.
Yeah. God, and I thought video projects were bad.
They're even worse.
Yeah,
if you do full ones. Yeah,
I did one video for Dax Discovers, and it was 9 gig by the time I finished it. And I was like, it's only 35 minutes long. It's not even like that long. Like this is.
Oh, that's not. I could do 10 gig in 3 minutes if you got enough audio file, and like when you do, and then you get X amount of songs on an album, and then X amount of the yeah. Oh yeah,
that's insane. All right. Well, thank you very much for
of course,
coming onto the podcast. Do you have any final words or wisdom you would like to share?
Have I ever got any wisdom to share? I don't know. That's a question. Nothing that comes to mind. No. All
right. That's nothing that you don't need to share anything. That's absolutely fine. So yeah, I have been Dax, and this has been Aston.
Woo.
And thank you very much for joining us. See you next time. Bye-bye.
See you soon. Bye.